Okay.
Yeah, check him out, Jordan
Yep.
Peterson, and he's a brilliant mind. He's a psychologist,
Okay.
and he's from Canada, and he
Mm-hmm.
came to the forefront because there's there was legislation. This is going back about 5 years or so ago. There
Yep.
was legislation in Canada saying that uh, you must say some words. Not saying that you can't say certain words, which is
Yes.
bad enough, but this was saying you must say certain words. And in this case, it was they were talking about transgender pronouns, and
Okay.
they were saying that Jordan Peterson, in his practice as a psychotherapist and a psychologist, that
Yep.
he must use pronouns, certain pronouns designated to certain people, even if they were biologically something else. So in other words, if they were born a male and they
Yep.
wanted to be referred to as she or zet or whatever, the government is saying you must do this. You must do
Correct.
this. And so he's
Correct.
saying, wait, this is the first time that that they've actually passed legislation, the government saying that you must say something. They've said you can't say things, or you can't yell fire in a theater if it's not
Right.
on fire. And if it
Yes.
is on fire, you want to yell fire. But if it's not, there's a law against that, which is fine. But they're saying you must use these adjectives, and he said, "Well, not so fast." So that came to a head, and that threw him to the forefront. And
Good.
so a
Good.
lot of his lectures have been on YouTube. If you look them up, you'll see you'll see a lot of good lectures regarding this subject as well as others. And he had a
Can you say his name again?
Jordan 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 Peterson.
Gotcha.
Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Okay.
And
On
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, on YouTube. You check him out on YouTube.
Yep.
And yeah, and you'll see some fascinating videos for sure.
Yes.
But he had a
Yes.
woman on, and this woman was talking about, because everybody's talking about the obvious harm to minors if they're given these drugs and these surgeries when they're underage. This is life-altering um, surgery, and there's no turning back, you know.
So
But
and plus they might become sterile, maybe.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
all of this stuff, right, right. But she
There goes.
points out too that not only does it affect the child, but it does irreparable damage to the parents as well.
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
as they say, the parents aren't even a lot of times involved in this.
Right.
If they say no,
Right.
no, no, the child could just do it, be either behind their back or even with their knowledge, they just can't stop it.
Oh,
And it
speaking
just wreaks havoc on the family. So,
and speaking of back behind your back,
yeah,
schools. If the boy wants to become Mary, they will go along with it, and the boy could dress up as Mary. But once they leave school, they become the boy again, and
yeah,
they do not have to tell the parents what the boy
right. Yeah, they're just
became
keeping
Mary. They
everything
don't have to
right,
tell the parents
right,
that.
right. Everything's
Oh
kept in
my
schools.
God.
I mean, what's going on? This
I
is
know.
crazy. This is
Yes.
crazy stuff. But I think the corner is turning on this because
Good, good, good. Yeah.
people people aren't going to put up with this. I don't think.
No,
And
no.
I mean, if somebody wants to do this to themselves,
S-
they're human beings. They deserve every right that every other human
Yes.
being has given to them. But just you can't go forcing this on kids. You just can't.
No,
And I think that's where the
no.
line is going to be drawn.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's not, I think that
Yeah.
you know, but 5 years ago they weren't talking about this. This happened so fast.
It did. It
You know,
did. Yes.
5 years
Yes.
ago, you were having you you nobody would take you seriously if you
Right.
said in 5 years, they're going to be performing uh, mastectomies on 13-year-olds. They
Oh
said,
my
"What are you
God.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
what are you nuts? What you have a bad dream last night? You
Right.
know,
Right.
they
Right.
never would have believed it. This happened in 5 years. It's
Yes.
just incredible that happened so fast.
Yes.
But nothing surprises me anymore. That's the thing about getting older. That's one of the reasons I
Right.
moved out here in Richmond because
Yes.
I can witness this from afar. I don't have to be reminded of it every time I step out onto the porch. You know,
So you're not too far from oh man, what's her name? The singer?
uh,
Uh,
well, I don't know. Taylor Swift lives in
yeah,
Newport. Is
bingo,
that who?
right.
Yeah, yeah. Taylor.
Taylor
Well,
Swift.
she's about a half hour. She's about a half hour away from me. She's not as
Yeah.
close because I'm in West Kingston.
Oh,
And one
okay.
thing about
Yep.
living in West Kingston is
Yep.
that everything is half an hour away, basically. I mean, the only thing that's close to my house, there are two stores. There's a maple syrup store
Oh,
called Spring Hill Sugar House. Shout out to them; they're great people. And
okay.
then there's a greenhouse, Our Kids Greenhouse, which uh, they sell vegetables all year long.
Oh,
And
yep.
both places have honor boxes, and they're both
Right.
within walking distance where I live. So if I want some maple syrup and it's in the middle of the winter, I can just walk right into their building and
Yep.
pick up a jug of maple syrup, throw a fin in a can with a slit in the top, and be
Yep.
on my way. Same thing with winter vegetables and farm raised eggs.
Yep.
They're just right there, and there's a box with a slit in the top, and you just. But that's about it. That's the only, anything else. The the uh, the closest Stop and Shop is a half hour away.
Ah,
You know,
yeah.
and closest CVS is a half hour. Everything is like 20 to 25 to 30 minutes away.
Ah,
So it takes some getting used to. Because I used to literally be able to go to the end of my street and
right.
have
Right.
there was Market Basket there and all this stuff. But now it's
And
you know
that
I
was in and that was in Providence, right?
Providence on the Cranston line. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I lived right near Calat Towers, if people know where that is, and
Yeah.
that was very convenient in that way because everything was in walking distance.
Right.
But it was getting crazy. I mean, during the pandemic year,
Yep.
2020, uh, that's when you couldn't uh, you couldn't gather for Sunday meals
Yep.
because of the pandemic, but yet you could roam the streets of Providence
Yep.
on mini bikes, terrorizing everybody, and
Right.
you could protest on the steps of City Hall and
Yep.
not wear masks because obviously the virus wasn't interested in those things. It was just interested in if you were having Sunday dinner with your family.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's
And and
crazy. Yeah,
and then the silly thing, oh, you're gonna wear a mask. You're gonna wear 15 masks, but
yeah.
yet,
It's all
but yet,
bullshit.
right? And then, right,
Finally, it's
exactly.
coming out. Yeah,
And then you go to a restaurant and you take the mask off to eat, so
yeah.
the germs are traveling. Oh, we can't touch him. We can't touch them. They were wearing a
I know.
mask. No.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I used to joke about it because I'd meet friends when they finally let you do it in a
Yep.
restaurant, and
Yep.
uh, I would tell them, we're standing up now, so we have to have the mask on. But once we sit down, the coronavirus doesn't go down there. So you take the mask off, and it's all right,
Right.
you know.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so the
Right.
waitress would come, and of course she'd have a mask on, and
Yep.
and so she's trying to tell you the special of the day,
Right,
And you
right,
have no idea,
right, right.
But it was crazy times, But
Now, now, way back when, now, 2000, whenever we got our first shot, if I quote me here, that they
yeah.
said take one shot and it would cure it. Didn't they say that?
Well, actually, they always said two. They always said two, and I had the first two. And I'm convinced that the second one put me in the hospital.
Right, because that's why I
Yeah,
got my two shots. You're right. One,
right.
two shots. You're right. But
Right.
then a year later, uh,
Oh, what are they up to? They're up to 7 shots, I think now, right? Every other
yeah,
week, CVS is calling you in for another shot. None of them
yes.
work. None
So
of them
right,
work.
and then it's like every year they want you to take a
Oh,
shot.
yeah,
Uh,
you know,
and then of
and
course, what's his name? The doctor? Uh,
well, Fauci, yeah,
yeah,
Fauci,
Fauci.
yeah,
And then
right.
Fauci, MD. And then the joke is, an MD doesn't stand for midget doctor either.
Well, that's a funny thing about Fauci is that when he first came on the scene,
Yes,
under the Trump administration, him and the scarf lady. Remember the scarf lady?
I do.
I mean, we wanted to hear from them because we're
Yes,
there in our houses. We can't go out. This invisible vapor of the dam is going to get you.
right, right,
And
right.
so every day we're waiting to hear what this guy has to say. And she was even more motherly than he was fatherly. So
Correct.
I actually wanted to hear more from her because she made me feel even better than he did, you know. But now she's gone. I don't know what they did with her,
Mm.
but I haven't seen or heard from her in a long time. But Fauci won't give up. I
Right,
mean,
right, right.
you couldn't abuse him enough. I mean,
Yep,
Senator Rand abused him on a weekly basis,
yep.
pulling his ass into the Senate chambers and just totally obliterating him. And he doesn't care. He
And
doesn't
th-
answer any questions, and he just gets away with everything. And I was saying, well, when is this guy going to be doing the pigeon walk? They now they indicted Trump, but they're not indicting this guy. This guy was sending money to the lab where now they're saying the virus came from. Well, you
right.
couldn't even talk about this back in 2020. They'd lock you up, or they'd cancel you on social media. That's for sure.
And then the nursing homes were like incubators, right? Uh,
Yes, right.
and then that governor of New York, he remember he put many, many people into the nursing homes, and 90% of them
Right.
died. He should go up for manslaughter, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I
Yes,
mean, some people
yes,
have compared him to Mengele. I
yes,
mean,
yes,
I mean, millions of people died.
yes,
Millions. When you think of it, millions of people died
yes,
unnecessarily. And he's
yes.
trying to tell us it was from bat soup. I mean, come
Right,
on.
right,
I
right.
didn't buy it then. I don't buy it now. And then it just happens to be
Yep.
in the same neighborhood. This wet market just happens to be in the same neighborhood as a lab that it, the only reason for it being around is
Yep.
to experiment on viruses. That's why it's there.
And they were paying the doctor
Right,
Fauci.
right.
Right,
We were giving them money on top of it
right,
all.
right, 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 right. Yeah,
But
right,
but you have to say no, it's because they didn't wash the floor of this wet market. You
right,
know,
right, right.
I mean, it jumped from a bat to a human being. Some human being bought some bat soup
Yep,
from
yep.
a wet market in China, went home, I guess, and ingested it, and then got coronavirus. Then that's how. I mean, come on.
And then let's jump ahead. Now, conspiracy, or maybe the truth, that this is all planned so they can eventually they want to control us, the people.
Yeah, well, I that's another thing because remember at first they said It was 15 days.
Yes.
15 days
Yes.
to stop the spread, and this way we won't overwhelm the hospitals.
Right.
15 days.
Right.
Reasonable. 15 days. Well, then it was 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, by 2020, I had had enough. By June of 2020, I said,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. And I opened up the church, and we started having open mics.
Very
And
good.
actually,
Very good.
they called us. They called on us. Somebody called on us, and
Yeah.
the Rhode Island Department of Business Regulations came to an open mic,
Yep.
and I was, we were doing everything right. I had tables in between chairs to
Mm-hmm.
keep people separated.
Yep.
Everybody was all masked up. I had the microphones had shields in front of them.
Yep.
I had there were wipes down in between acts. Everything. The windows were wide open, no matter how cold it was. I mean,
Yep.
we did everything. And so somebody still called because they were just pissed off that we were having fun, and they were stuck in their closet, basically. So,
And
so they called us. Yeah.
before you continue, and where is this church located?
Oh, this is the Church of the Mediator in Providence, and we have a weekly open mic every Thursday. It's 50 Rounds Avenue in Providence, Rhode Island, and it's a wonderful place, a wonderful venue, and there the performer comes before anybody.
Yes.
Other places, it's all about the audience. Here, it's the performer. Performer, you will be heard. We require people to listen, and it's just that kind of place. But we do have pie, plenty of pie. So,
Good.
so
Good. Good.
anyhow, that's what we did. So we started this thing, and somebody called on us, and
Mm-hmm.
and usually I went through a list of rules
Yep.
right after my opening set to keep people, because I was expecting somebody to call us. So I wanted to be ready.
Yes.
So I went through a list of rules. Make sure you give us your name and address and phone number in case the outside chance somebody gets sick, we can get in touch with you. All this stuff.
Yep.
So I get down, and one of the regulars comes running up to me and says, "Whoa, down, down, down! There's a woman in the back, and she says she's from the state, and she has a clipboard."
Oh boy.
I said, "Oh, she's got a clipboard. It's got to be serious."
Right.
So now I'm ready. I'm ready for blood now, because I've been practicing in my head about
Yeah.
this. So I
Yeah.
said, I got the whole thing. This is a church. I'm a minister. This is a service. All the stuff I was going to tell them.
Yes.
And I went up there, and she was very nice. She was a young woman. I can't remember her name, but she was very nice. And
Yep.
I introduced myself, and she said, "Hi, my name is Laureen, whatever her name was," and she said, "I just want to tell you, I've walked around, I've talked to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard what you had to say up there, and I just want to say you're doing everything right.
Yep.
Continue and have a good time."
Ah, very
So from
good.
that
Very
point
good.
on, we were legit. We were legit. We were endorsed by the state of Rhode Island.
Yes. Yes.
And it pissed off the people that called on us. I know for a fact it did.
Yeah.
But we didn't care because I was determined I was not going to. 3 months was enough for me. I couldn't stand.
Right.
I was going
Right.
up my tree. You know what I did during the lockdown? Because
When?
I actually lived on the same street as the Mediator for about 37 years before we moved here, and the basement walls were crumbling,
Oh.
so I cemented the entire wall of the basement during the lockdown. That's how much fun I had. And I did it. And actually, when we sold the house, it actually enhanced the price. So, so there you go. But that's what I did during the lockdown, and that's how I kept my sanity.
Speaking of back times, Beth, have you heard any news
No,
about her?
no. Have you?
No. No.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's weird. Like
What was
every
her
once
last
in a.
name? What was her last name? That's was it Stanton or something? No,
Oh, Strickland. Beth Strickland.
Beth Strickland.
Yes.
Beth Strickland. So shout out to Beth Strickland. If you happen to see this, get in touch with Mike,
Yes.
and maybe we can have a Giovanni reunion.
Yes.
Of
Because
course.
go ahead. I don't know if because death is coming close to me, but I once in a while think of back times, and this is recent, and I start thinking of past people recently all the time. Is that a sign death is close?
Well, I think the older you get, the more you do that, But the less it matters. So that's the good part. You think about them, but then you go on. You get things to do. You're running out of time.
Yeah, because it's a constant. I keep thinking of, and it's constant. I keep thinking of other people.
Yeah.
Like, because when we're grown up, when somebody goes away, all right, and you don't, that's the end of it. You don't think of them.
Yeah, right. But when you're young,
right.
But when you're older, it's around you. I mean,
Yeah.
What is it? Old age is an island surrounded by death.
Very good. Right.
Yeah, I just want to cheer you up with that.
Right.
I just want to make sure that
Right.
if you weren't depressed, you'd really get depressed. But I mean, really, it's not just old age; it's any age, really. You're surrounded by death. We live on death. We even if you're a vegetarian, you
Right.
pull a carrot from the ground, and guess what? You just killed a carrot. That's how we survive. We survive on the death of other animals and plants. So,
Oh, speaking of plants, did you hear they really do feel pain? Did you hear how they scream?
Yes.
They sound like bubble. What are those things you press and it makes a pop noise?
Oh, you bubble wrap,
Yeah, pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop, pop. That's how they
Yeah.
scream.
Well, they've been saying that for a long time, I mean, can you imagine the sound if you could hear them when you mow your lawn? I mean, that must be horrendous. Every blade of grass, no, not me.
Right.
But, I mean, my wife heard about that, and now she feels bad about, cooking carrots. It's like,
Right.
relax.
Right.
Relax.
Right.
You have to relax.
Yes. Yes.
But anyhow.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying it's 50 minutes. And so what I'll do is I'll split these videos up because people
I have about 5 minutes anyhow before my aforementioned wife calls me anyhow. So.
Okay. Because
So
people...
we'll just continue for about 5 minutes. How's that?
Okay. Because people watching videos, extend... what do you...
The attention span. They have a
That's
very
it.
short attention
Bingo.
span. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So
So
split
they
it up.
probably tuned out. They probably tuned out about 45 minutes ago, if that.
Right.
And this is just basically for you and me right now.
Right.
We're making each other laugh, which is, there's nothing wrong with that,
Right.
But this isn't the first podcast. Now, is this a podcast? Is this a Mike Keefe podcast?
I
guess you would call it that, right?
Because I don't know why, but it just hit me. I says, you know what? Let me record this and put it on YouTube and see what happens.
It's a video podcast. That's what
The
it
first
is.
one, April.
So now, when you post this, I guess you're gonna put a lot of hashtags on there. That's how you get it out there. You could put hashtag mediator open mic. You could put hashtag jewelry in Rhode Island. Anything that we talked about. Hashtag COVID. Anything that we talked about, and then that will make it spread more, and it'll show up on people's stream. At least that's what I'm told. So I don't know if it really works, but that's what I'm told.
Because I do see where on YouTube where to put the hashtags, but I never did.
Yeah, well, that's very important. Very important.
Okay.
That's how you get more traffic.
Okay.
So, Okay.
Yeah.
So anyhow, Mike and I, I think we mentioned this a little bit, but we are colleagues
Hmm.
in that we were two very important links in the chain that had to do with manufacturing costume jewelry.
You
I
know,
made the original model,
yep,
and Mike put that original model in a mold, and
yep.
that's how you got a lot of pieces. So
And I think I told you many times when I was there working that we had the perfect uh, system.
yes,
Very good mo maker. You listen, I listen to you.
yep, yep,
Lester listened to us. Perfect,
yep.
perfect,
Yeah, yeah, it was a perfect chain,
perfect.
really. We got a lot done, and now it's all over
Yes,
China. So
yeah.
you know what happened at Giovanni?
No.
Well, I was there for 10 years.
Oh.
I was there from 1995 to 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So you left probably around you left before they went to East Providence, right?
Affirmative.
I
Right.
believe,
Right.
right? Yeah. So, but I made it to East Providence, and my job literally got taken over by China. In other words, the money that they were paying me, they
Yep.
gave to a guy who his job was to get models made in China and bring them back to the United States. So my job literally went to China. I mean, it
Oh
had
my
been
God.
happening
Yeah.
figuratively for a long time. It's still happening to
Right.
this day. But that was one job after 10 years that literally went to China. So that's what happened there. And
Yep.
so, but they're still around. I don't know they, if they're doing anything. I think they still string pearls over there, but they don't
Yep.
make any costume jewelry anymore. So, but
Right.
I still make models. I
Good.
still
Good.
make
Good.
models,
Good. Yep.
and as a matter of fact, I'll prove it. I'll show you a couple of
Okay.
things before we go.
Yep.
Okay, let's flip this around,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's a Christmas train I made for Fort when I was there
Is
back
that
in
pewter?
the
Is that
pewter.
pewter
That's
metal?
pewter. That's pewter.
Okay.
Yep,
Yep. Yep.
yep. And this is all centrifugal casting and stuff. Yep. So,
Wow. Yeah.
yep. So, and this is my little workshop over here.
Nice.
And I'm
Nice.
also a
Yeah.
musician, so I have guitars and keyboards everywhere.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is my bench.
Yep.
So,
Nice.
I'm kind of like one of the last model makers around in the whole country, really, especially white metal model makers. There are some that that still make models in wax for
Yep.
lost wax process, which is different from what Mike and I did. But I'm one of the last pewter model makers left in the country. So,
Very good.
and I enjoy it. I'll do it until I drop, basically. Hopefully,
Yes.
the model I was working on will be done, and they'll just find me sloped over the bench and kind of like, there you go. That was the last model maker. He's gone now. Happy trails to him,
Do
and
you
that'll
know?
be that.
Do you know that's funny because that's what I tell my people. Like I'm into computer and I get all freebies and I can't
Yeah.
tell you what I get because they'll put me away.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
I've heard
just
about you. Yeah, you're
and I
notorious in that regard.
and I just told Fred next door, if they do put me away, just send me cookies.
Better to have a cake because you can fit a file in the cake.
Bingo! Right there you go.
Yep.
And
And a little hammer, like in Shawshank Redemption. A little
and
hammer and post
and
it in.
I tell them that's where you're gonna find me, right here at my desk, face down, right.
Yep, yep. Well, I do plenty of that too.
Yeah.
I got computers back there, and
Yep.
so I keep busy in that regard too.
Yes.
I'm always
Yes.
doing something. I'm either playing music, making models, or
Yep.
fiddling around on social media or doing something. But
Yep.
that's the secret, Mike. Stay
Yes.
connected,
Yep.
watch your diet, and exercise. You live
Yes.
to be at least 60.
So that means I was dead 10 years ago.
Right.
You're talking to a ghost.
Well, I said at least. You know,
Yeah.
so.
All right. Yeah.
I'll be, so you're 70 now? Did you turn 70 yet?
I
Right?
did December. Yeah,
Happy
27th.
birthday. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I'll be
Thanks.
72
Oh,
in
yeah.
June
Yeah.
17th.
Yeah.
So both of
Yeah.
us are over the hill. But as they say, it's better to be over the hill than under the hill, right?
Yes.
So all of these tired old jokes actually become relevant when you become our age.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's good to be retired for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what they tell me. But see, I'm not retired, but it's not like I'm working either because what I do is more like I'm playing.
Yes.
So that's the secret. If you don't want to work, find something that you love to do, and you won't work a
Oh,
day in your life.
and
So,
speaking of old times, like when we were growing up, houses were in the 30s, 40s, 50s,
oh,
60s.
I know what happened.
How do kids,
They don't.
growing up in their 20s buy a house?
Now they live under bridge abutments. That's what they do now.
Yes.
They live in encampments now. If you haven't noticed,
Right.
they live in these encampments in East Providence and in Pawtucket and all over the place.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're laughing, but it is a big problem.
Oh,
It's a big
that
problem.
that dude under the bridge. Remember Channel 10? He came
Yep.
out and he was talking. Okay, he's coming out. He has his own door. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It,
Right. This was in Providence Place Mall.
no, Pawtucket under the bridge.
Oh, okay.
Remember
Under
that
the bridge. Okay. I'm
that
thinking about the
board?
guy. All right. Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
coming out, but yet he has a cigarette. Wait, you're poor. How can you buy a cigarette?
But $2 a butt. You know.
Right,
I
right.
don't get it. I don't understand it. Now, I was thinking about the guy years ago who was living
In the
in a
mall,
secret
right,
room in
right,
the mall
right,
parking lot. He was there for
right,
months.
right,
And he
right,
had
right,
parties in there and everything. Nobody knew
right.
for a long time. For a long
Yes,
time.
had
He was
furniture
one of
and
my
everything.
heroes, actually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So it's been great.
Yep.
This has been fun. We got to do it again.
We will. We
And
will.
yeah. So look up the Mediator stage.
Yep.
You can look it up here on Facebook. You can look it up on YouTube. You can look up me, Don Tassone,
Yep.
on YouTube and on Facebook. And you'll find a lot of music there, a lot of clips from the Mediator stage there.
Yep.
And come see us every Thursday, 50 Rounds Avenue, Providence, Rhode Island, 02907. Hope to see you there. And thanks so much for this, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And
Make
we
sure-
will
make-
do it again.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Make sure you send me the link because I want to watch this. See how
Okay.
dumb we
Okay.
were.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, Mike.
Okay.
Good
Thanks,
talking.
Don.
All
Yep.
right.
Bye
Take care
bye.
now. Bye-bye.
Yep.